the lines.
Okay. So we're live. That means behave yourselves, people.
Always.
Good morning to all of you. Good morning to
morning.
anyone who's
Good morning.
kind enough to listen to us and patient enough, and who wants to get some value out of what we're saying. I mean, we talk about serious things here, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Why are you laughing?
Because I was 30 seconds ago, we were talking about things that were not so serious.
Well, that's right, and that's why I pressed the button. But when I press the button, we focus up. We talk about serious things. For example, today we're going to be talking about the new epidemic that's taking place. You all know about this, although you may not have heard it by its formal name. It's called FRS. It stands for Failed Resolution Syndrome. Currently, a lot of people are experiencing this because it is the second to last day in January. And usually by now, the resolutions are done. People are done with them. They gave it a shot.
Yeah. Well, some of us did.
Time to move on. Why do we think resolutions fail? There's a strong intention, right? People want it. It's a new year. There's a blank slate. Why do resolutions more often than not fail?
I think everybody feels they have more time. I think there's always I just feel we've come to a point where we stretch ourselves so thin. We always bank on there being another day, another Monday, another chance. We are constantly giving ourselves second, third, fourth, fifth chances. And I think it's like an invisible safety net. I think there's just always, we never consider the fact until something extreme happens that you don't always have multiple chances.
Right.
Or when something extreme happens and bad, or you get scared straight, kind of.
Right, because it turns out you may not have as much time as you think.
Exactly.
Okay, well, that's not something that we can necessarily implement with our clients.
No,
right?
not to the extreme. No,
not to the extreme, but you can implement the fact that when you're going off course or you feel like you're going through the mud and you're never going to get out, why would you feel like you're never going to get out? And why would you stop going? Because the only way to get out of the mud is to keep on going, to keep on trying. So
I agree with you, and I agree with what you and Jackie are both saying. I mean, there's always another opportunity. There's always another game. So why play this particular game 100% this particular day when you could always just start over? It's a combination of failed resolution syndrome and compulsive starting over syndrome. This is what,
and it's also a sense of
SOS. Okay.
I think it's oftentimes too, Dr. R, what you and Jen talk about, how, our bodies are literally addicted at times to certain foods that are put into our bodies.
Correct.
Because of our brainwaves. So sometimes I think as much as you don't want to fail, I think that unless you're detoxing your body appropriately, it's harder to stay on track because your body or your brain is addicted, for example, to sugar, and it's saying, give me the sugar, give me the sugar. And you break down to those demons.
Sometimes you give in, right? And sometimes you don't. Jen, why do you think people fail at their resolutions?
Well, a couple of things went through my mind. So first of all, it's because we're acting under duress, like it's danger, danger, danger. And now that the fire is put out, we go, I can breathe a little bit. So let me just go back to
what fire has been put out? People are making these resolutions at the beginning of January and done by the middle of January.
Right. So, well, they put out the immediate needs to handle something, but it's not handled. The other thing is it's like a group mentality. So I'm joining in this because everybody's doing it, but I'm not really doing it for my own good sense. So, it's not sustainable.
Do you perceive that people who make resolutions, New Year's resolutions in particular, are sort of insincere in that, and they're doing it as some kind of a group agreement?
I think it's a habit. I'm going to make a New Year's resolution because that right. I can say I have never made a New Year's resolution because I used to look at the adults around me doing it, and I would think, they break them by week 1. So to me, it did seem insincere as a kid. Like I kind of looked at that and I'm like, just do, right?
Right.
So, I think it has to be for yourself, and it has to be an ongoing thing, not just something you declare on one day and then don't implement it. Like I've had clients this past week or two say, "Oh my God, it's like January 25th. How could it be already?" And I'm like, yeah. And imagine how much weight you would have lost between now and between January 1st and now, if you just stayed on program.
Right.
Or just jumped in, because there are people who haven't started.
100%, right?
So,
Yeah, we all do that. Like had we started a year ago, we could have been, proficient at the piano right now.
yeah.
Right? We always look back and do that.
Shoulda,
Hey,
woulda,
Trish,
coulda.
you were shaking your head when Jen was speaking before about,
Yeah.
about groups and about it's a thing to do. And what were your thoughts on that?
So I don't really do the New Year's resolution thing. I think it's also like, why? Because your friend is going to work out 5 days a week. You're going to work out 5 days a week. It just
Right.
never happens that way. And then the
Mhm.
what is it? I think the expectations of it are not, they do it, they say they're going to do it. And then
they
week 2,
quit.
they haven't even gone to the gym yet. So,
Right.
and then they just fail. So I feel like there's just that group thing. And then you expect one thing, it doesn't happen. And then they just fail.
Right.
So I feel like, what's the point of them?
So there's a negative group conspiracy going on, huh, Jen?
Yeah,
And
it's true.
For complete transparency, I'm a Monday morning person.
Mm.
This Monday, I'm jumping right in. And by Tuesday, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
which is, so I flunk every week, not just one.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with Jen on that one.
I have something to say that may be instructive on this. So I have a family member, I'm not going to say who, but she was living in another state and she was interested in doing the program. So she started doing the program and I get a call from her the night of the first day. And like she's near to, she's like, this sucks. I can't eat anything I want, whatever. I'm done.
Yeah.
And I said, well, okay, at least you gave it a good shot. Family, right? Nobody wants to deal with family. But no, but this brings to mind something really important, which is that whenever you start out on a journey, there can be some level of doubt. And when you just at the beginning, it's very easy to quit. There's a hump that you got to get over. You
Mhm.
got to get over the other side of that hill to where it can be downhill. Because
Yes.
the people who do that, they tell us over and over again, our program is the easiest thing they've ever done. But if you're fighting it at
once
the
you get over
very
that hump.
beginning,
Absolutely.
it's so easy to say, I'll start tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow. I'll
Mhm.
start tomorrow. And people can do this for years on end. The Monday thing can go on for a lifetime, literally.
Yes.
Right? So it's
Yeah.
that initial toughness. I am going to do this or die. That's the attitude that you need at first until things turn around.
And it doesn't take that long.
It doesn't necessarily, no.
It's funny because when I was looking at it and I was like wording it, you write it up and then you erase and I'm like, oh, is this too straightforward? But it's like, no, enough is enough. Like enough. I could not even, I'm saying to myself, and it was very personal because I'm with Jen on that. I mean, I don't necessarily make a New Year's resolution, but I'm obviously in that bad habit of not staying consistent long enough to go back to bad habits or unravel for too long where I don't reel it back in. I sometimes, and it's very strange with me, and I've had God knows how many conversations about this with Jen, but if I'm doing good for the longest time and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh my God, I just woke up. And it really does feel like that sometimes because believe it or not, from me doing program at my most successful and being consistent with that, I didn't actually start to put the weight on until like we were about a year into COVID. And then, but it's different. It's shifted and I was able to go back to right back in and reel myself in.
Where did it shift to?
It's like, it's weird. No, it's funny. So like from my old sizes that I would wear, I'm actually still in the same size clothing. Okay, maybe it's like snugger jeans or whatnot that I was when I was at my lowest with program.
Hey, buddy.
which is weird because I'm like, oh, but I feel like my body feels different, like because it's
Sure.
the inflammation, it's poor choices, it's the fat, it's the swelling, right? Me retaining what I shouldn't be, and it's like in my face or my arms or different areas, right? So fast forward to like, okay, I'll start now. I'll do this. I have this in mind. This is coming. And then something clicks where it's like, it gets a little busy and okay, I know what I'm doing and it's fine. And then I'm not prepping. And then it's, oh, well, I'm just skipping a meal. And then it's okay because I'm just having vegetables anyway. And
That's right.
these bad habits come, even though I'm probably still eating good or not as bad. And I spiral right out.
Yeah.
And it's just,
And that's a pretty typical thing that we see, Jen, isn't it? Is that once somebody gives themselves permission, it can be hard to get back on the path. It takes a lot of, and I'm talking about on a formal program. I'm not talking about in life as part of a lifestyle, but that initial ability to get right back on the path as opposed to getting further into the woods and losing that path altogether.
Yeah, and some of it is the company you keep too. Like,
you guys all have to get divorced? Is that the point?
I have to say, John's doing very well. He's and that's, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna take some of your jobs. That's it.
he also works a lot. So he's not out for brunch with the ladies or whatever. So
as far as we know,
ladies who lunch. But it's funny because I had gone out. I don't do a lot of out time. It's just not my. I love to eat, but it's not my thing to like do a lot of social time because during the day I'm working or family or whatever. And the few times that I've gone out with friends, it's been very easy. Oh, we go to a brunch place and they're having waffles and pancakes and I'm getting an omelet, my egg omelet, blah, 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 with the side salad. And then it's time they desserts. And I'm looking, I'm going, oh, just one bite. But then I'm thinking, if I do this all the time, I can't live like that. I have, which is what got me in trouble. So,
well, I think that's the difference between like, choose a name, Michael Jordan, Grant Cardone, Warren Buffett. I think that's the difference with them is it's always the bottom of the ninth inning with people like that. They're always playing that game as if everything is on the line.
Yeah.
And they don't play the game that we do, which is, get down by 3 runs and then hope that, you can hit a grand slam with the bases loaded.
Yeah.
And so that's the mindset shift that really needs to occur. What does it take for us to have that bottom of the ninth inning mentality all the time?
So you get up every day, like it's a new day, and it is a new day, but you have to start every day as if it is. You're going to eat clean every day and live a healthy lifestyle. Grant Cardone actually said something that I did an audiobook of the 10X rule. And hey, Grant, big plug.
Is he watching?
I don't know.
Hey, Grant, what's up, man?
That'd be nice. Hi.
He should be. I told him all the time.
Join us.
Yeah. That's right. So he said he gets up and starts every day as if he were dead broke. And that is how he lives his life. Right. So we have to live our life every day as if we are fat bottom girls. And, and just keep eating as if, and then the eat off and have a good indulge day just becomes not a regular thing. I mean, I look back at like what our parents lived like. And my mom's crowd, there were 1 or 2 who were always struggling with their weight, but for the most part, they were like, 1970s women, trim and slim, and
it was generally easier back then. Nonetheless, they were probably more disciplined.
But it was a mindset, exactly.
Right.
My mom, when she noshed, a snack was a piece of fruit and some nuts. She didn't nosh on Dunkin' cookies and whatever, and going out to lunch and having waffles. Oh God, like all of that, right? So it was a different mindset.
Hey, have you guys raise your hand if you've had a great idea for an app? I feel like everyone's had an idea, not an appetizer, an application like for a phone. Everyone's had a great idea for that. No, I'm wrong about this?
No.
Okay.
No.
I feel like I have, but I think it's out there.
Yeah, yeah, often it is, which is obnoxious. But I got to tell you, I mean, I have, half a dozen ideas for great apps. So one of them is regarding what we're talking about now. It would be called, if I would ever get around to it, right? That's the thing about these ideas. I feel like Ralph Graham did. There's always a new one, but it would be called Winning the Day. And what you would do, it's kind of an organizer or a checklist of what it would take to win the actual day when you wake up, right? So, if you eat 5 servings of vegetables, drink 8 glasses of water, or exercise for a half hour, that's how you win the day. And the only thing that matters is that day, because the next day all the check marks are gone.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah. So I just had like I think
You got
that's
an aha moment about my app.
enough. Not about the app, but about the idea. So I remember going, it's just one meal, get past this meal.
Yeah.
You did it. It's the next meal, get past. And then before you know it, it was like 2. That's why I said 2 weeks. It's a 2-week mark. If you can get past the 2 weeks, then it becomes, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a non-issue. You just keep
Right.
going. So it's the 2-week mark.
Yeah, it's that initial. You need a lot of force initially. You need a lot of conviction initially. And by the way, this is not only regarding our program. This is not only regarding diet.
Yeah.
This is true about anything.
Yeah.
I mean, the mindset has to be, no matter what,
Yeah.
for these 2 weeks, if that's the time that you choose, right? No matter what, this is what I'm doing. This day. This day matters. This is a World Series game. This is not just one of 162 games throughout the season that I can throw away.
Yeah.
That's the mindset that you have to overcome all that initial inertia.
Right. And then if I started an exercise program on Christmas Day, I didn't want to wait. And I jumped in on Christmas Day. And there have been days where I haven't been able to. But instead of saying, oh, you know what, forget it. I lost 3 days. I'm not, why bother starting up again? I just said, okay, so I had 3 days where I didn't exercise, get back up again, which was not easy that first time.
Right.
No.
Second, third day, it was back in play again.
But we've all had those wins, right? We've all had those times where we said, to quote Jackie, enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
And where we did what we said that we were going to do. So what I'd like to do is each of you, let's share one of those wins, because we know we can do it. We know that we are mentally tough, even though we forget that we are.
Right.
So, Corinne, can you give us an example of a win that you had? It doesn't have to be diet related. Just a time where you said, enough is enough. I've been thinking about this too long, and that's it. I'm handling something.
Well, I mean, the best thing for me is and I'm still in the weeds and I'm still doing it. Like, my little one has issues, and you can't sit back and just do nothing, no matter how many times you're hit with a baseball and you strike out. If you strike out and you give up, then you're left with nothing. So
if I may, can you leave the baseball metaphors to me, please?
Oh, sorry.
I feel like you're going to start talking about touchdowns.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay, good. Continue. Please.
But at the end of the day, you have to remember that, you just have to keep going. You have to keep going, and you have to decide that whatever this is you're doing it for the right reasons, and you're doing it for yourself. And
well,
that's it.
I want to point out the example, though, was with your child. And
Yeah,
I mean,
for me, my win for my child is the fact that I never give up. I never give up. I just keep on trucking, and no matter what, I'll never give up.
That's right. It's and that's how most mothers are, where it's easier to give up for yourself, right? Because we perceive that it's not the same sin that it would be for giving up on a child, which is completely untrue, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, and another good win for myself actually is this year I made the decision that I said that I was going to go back to exercising, and I was going to go back to feeling better about myself. And I started that January 7th, and I've done that Monday through Friday since January 7th.
Ladies and gentlemen, someone who does not suffer from FRS.
Doesn't mean
Awesome.
my eating should be better in check, and like I'm wasting my time by getting up at
Well,
5
we can
o'clock in the
work on the
morning.
rest of the resolution. Don't worry about that. But
It
Trish,
wasn't
how
even really a
about you?
resolution, but that's good.
Yeah, how about you, Trish?
I guess I'll just, obviously I started like my weight loss last year, and for
Amazing.
me, I kept it off for the most part. I have like 15 to 20 pounds to be exactly where I want to be, so I can sit down with you and have a consultation how to keep it off.
That's right.
So
We're
that's
having the keeping it off consultation. Oh, keeping it off
yes.
consultations.
Nice plug, Trish.
Yes, we're
So
doing
that's
those
where I'm
now.
at.
Everyone needs to do those.
Yeah. So for me, like that was a big win. It was a lot of years. I also had a sick child that I kept pushing and figuring out and what was going on and fighting for. And you don't give up. And I gave up on myself for a long time, and then finally found that need to take care of me again. So for me, that was a big win this whole year.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, that giving up on yourself thing, we've all experienced that too. I mean, we've all experienced the great wins. We've all experienced the giving up on ourselves. Dr. Seuss in the Places You'll Go, he kind of talks about that. He talks about the waiting place, right? We're waiting for something to happen as opposed to making it happen.
It happened.
Jack?
Right.
I mean, honestly, it's the aha moment for me is really more of being honest with myself. So when I do see myself unraveling or doing what I shouldn't be or what I know is not best for myself, acknowledging it, not just, oh, it's okay, or kind of like making an excuse for whatever seems to be going on. I think for me, it's really just being honest with myself about
We're
it.
looking for a win. We're looking for a time where you said enough is enough. Maybe you stopped doing something that you resolved to do,
Well,
and then you did it.
the
Yeah.
first time and the last time I can honestly say 1,010% I did that was when I did program for the first time.
Okay.
So,
Got it.
and that's where I'm at now today.
So it's
I'm at that
interesting.
same motion where I'm like, okay, this is it. I'm there
We
again.
we help people with that. There is something about signing up for a program. Our contracts that we give to people, they're like 6 pages. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be here you go. No, there's a process. You think about it. You sign, you initial. During that process, if you haven't already made a decision, you better damn well make the decision.
Right.
And then there's all the prep work, right? Jen?
Me?
Yeah, give me a win. A time where you said enough is enough. You did what you set out to do. You got back on the path.
Yeah. So for me, it was organizing my things. So I have this bag
Oh God.
that I carry with me. It's got, but every compartment is, it's.
Can I see that bag?
That suitcase.
It's a Valentine's Day bag. It
The
looks
outside
like.
of it. I
is.
don't want to see the
Look at
outside. It's
It's
funny. I
pretty.
have that exact same bag.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah,
You wear it with matching heels?
I
Because-
do.
So in the past, I would have opened up a compartment and said, put the cover up back. Oh, it'll go here for now. There is no for now. There is put it in its place now. And I like organization, but it had fallen by the wayside for me. So this bag was actually the starting point of getting things back. So if I come in and I say, oh, my shoes can go here for now. No, my shoes go in the cubby where they belong. There is no for now, because I was spending a lot of time reorganizing and
Right.
cleaning up big messes. And I realized if you just put it where it belongs the first freaking time, then you don't have to do the big mess cleanup anymore.
Right.
Put it, who was it? Benjamin Franklin, a place for everything in its place. And that changed the mindset for me in everything else.
I pity the person who touches that bag.
No one's allowed to touch my bag.
Nobody's allowed to touch it.
No.
All right.
Sleeping with the enemy.
I'll tell you what comes to mind for me. So this happened many years ago. I was running consistently. I was living in New York, and I was running several times a week. Yeah, 4 times a week, I think.
Right.
And there was a week where just because of circumstances, I couldn't run, and it was making me crazy. And then I said, that's it. Tomorrow, I am definitely going for a run, no matter what. Well, tomorrow came and there was a nor'easter. So I went to Central Park. It was me and a couple of other maniacs. Like the park was empty. And we were running, and I ran in that nor'easter because I was going. I don't care if the thing could have picked me up and taken me out to sea. It did not matter because I had made that decision. So that's an example of it. And of course, some people are like, "Oh, you're crazy. Who runs in a hurricane?" You know, but that's what it is when you make that kind of decision. You can't be reasonable about it, right?
I have the Wizard of Oz music running through my head now. Let's begin Twitch.
Oh, got it. Okay, yes, interesting. All right, so what can we conclude from this conversation? What is the take home points for our clients and ourselves?
Again, just dump it. Like, stop with the excuses. Just if it's
Just
really
don't
what you want, just enough. Just
Yeah.
you don't have to say it anymore. You don't have you know, no more over explaining, over analyzing, overthinking. Just start. Just get in and just do it. You have to start somewhere. It's not always going to be perfect.
Right.
You know, whether it be your Monday, your Sunday, your Saturday start, your Wednesday, middle of the week, or
Just
I missed breakfast, I forgot my lunch at home, so I might as well just indulge. No one's gonna know, or
Right.
you know, it's oh, what's the big deal? I missed this. Well, I didn't have my liquids. Whatever your excuses, there's always going to be an easy way out or way to sugarcoat what you're doing, not perfectly or flat out wrong. So
Yes.
just do it. Just do it.
Can we not be like quoting Nike and risking
Okay,
possible
so
civil action?
enough is enough. Get on the bandwagon.
Enough is enough was a song by Donna Summer. So again,
Do you have something for me?
we are breaking the law right now.
That's actually, if we do like 15 seconds of that song, is it 15 seconds or 7 seconds?
We're
not
allowed.
breaking the law. We're
You're
allowed.
allowed?
That
So we
should
can
really be
sample it.
like, that should be our theme song for people. Like we should put that music behind, because Jackie, you've never coached, but you're like addressing every single client that I have to handle every single day.
I am every single client.
Stop.
Well, I guess what
I am.
I guess what I want people to be aware of is not only the starting, yes, right? The putting your foot down, the saying, this is what I'm going to do it. But then the realization that there's going to be a hump. And those thoughts are all going to flood in once you start, right? You could say, okay, not today. Today wasn't a perfect day. It was a bad decision, whatever. But just to have that conviction and that strength to say, whatever it is, you know, if it's 3 days, I've said that to clients sometimes. Okay, give me 3 perfect days. After that, I don't care what you do. After that, you know, go and have an ice cream sundae. I don't care, but let's do that perfect 3 days. And so I think that's what people need to understand when they start out initially. That's when all that negativity is going to start flooding in, and that's the inflection point. And you have to power your way through that. You have to understand and just be real pig-headed about it.
It's just the body screaming at you. Like, tell the body to be quiet. I threw away, oh my God, during the holidays, I got praline pecans and chocolate covered raisins, which are 2 of my weaknesses. Why? Why did I buy them? Did I throw them away? No, I kept eating them. And then I woke up one day and I said, I can't do this while they're in the house. So I set myself up for success by throwing them in the garbage pail. However,
and you feel bad about throwing them away.
Well, that was the day that I started.
Yeah.
That was the day I got back on track. I was like, these things are controlling me. Like, why? They're just nuts and raisins and chocolate.
But it's funny how that, if you think, you know, like, this is what, when you said that, Dr. R, and the same thing, Jen, it's like, you know exactly what will happen. And you're kind of secretly doing this at Costco. It's like,
oh, thank you. Thank you.
And I'm like,
more. They're done. I bought more.
And then all of a sudden you're like, well, it's this is keto and it's fine, and this is a healthier option. If I and then I'll just have 1, and then I'll have 2 tomorrow, and then half the bag is gone, and it's only a little cheating every day, and then all of a sudden you are where you are, and then it's crazy.
Right. So we have like all these body things going on, right? So we're feeding the body, but then it affects the body. And then we're coming up on Valentine's Day. So do you want to eat or do you want to?
And not even for just that, but it's indefinitely. Just Valentine's Day, okay, fine. Whatever. We're looking at, March, April, spring break, Easter.
2 years.
Spring break, Jackie. Are you going to spring break?
I am going to be in my spring break.
Jackie, so we could use excuses. Yeah, things that we have nothing to do with, right? You're going to be celebrating Arbor Day in Germany. That's coming up as well, right? I mean,
there's always something.
Spring break has nothing to do with you. You're a mother, for God's sakes.
My kids are coming.
No, at the end of the day, you have to do these decisions for you, not for anybody else. And you can't do it because spring break is coming, because summer is coming. You have to do it because at the end of the day, you want to get healthy for yourself.
But those are challenges, though, is what I think Jackie is saying. And
yeah, they are big challenges.
Often we project forward and we say, okay, I can't start now because you're right, because we have the Super Bowl coming up.
Yeah,
so
well, it's true.
And then there's Valentine's Day. And then there's spring break, and we have to go to Daytona. And
no, but there really are. If you really want to map out, even somebody who has a completely blank calendar. Okay, let's talk about someone who is single, no children, or in a relationship, only has to worry about themselves. Plans. There is always going to be something on the calendar. What?
Always.
Right.
Figure it out. Navigate it.
I just, like you were saying, give me 3 straight days. Go back to the 80-20 rule. And I think that's because life gets so crazy, you get caught up and you're doing for the good for everybody else to make sure and keep in check. And then all of a sudden you don't realize that, you can't hide the bad that you're doing for yourself behind them. Well, it's okay. I'm only eating the crust off of the kids' grilled cheese that's left. Right. Or, I'm just doing those things. They really do add up. And as you get older, yes, it does get a little bit harder, but you have to take yourself out of it. Like when Dr. R was talking about it, I had that moment where those flash forwards were like, oh my God, I can really do this. This is actually happening, where I don't feel like I am being deprived. There were probably 5 really good, solid days towards the middle end of the first program I ever did with you guys. And it was also the time of year was a little crazy. I was notoriously always trying something. We really, and you guys have known, we're not bad eaters, believe it or not, in our house for the most part. It's moderation is a big part of it. And we are extremely social, we're out all the time. And I can't even say it's not an alcohol social thing. We eat food. It's the food we're eating. But anyway, doing the program, and I remember this, and it was such a silly thing. Like some people like, oh, I want to wear a 2-piece. Oh, I want to jump into a bikini. And I said, no, I really want to wear a tank top and tuck it into jeans. Like that's it. Like, I just want to be able to tuck them into my jeans and just like not feel like I'm constantly adjusting myself, because even at my thinnest, regardless, I don't feel comfortable being all out there in general.
Right.
So I remember putting on, it was like right around Christmas Day, and I put it on and I was getting dressed in layers. So I had my jeans on and I was putting a tank top under a sweater, because I always layer. That's the appropriate thing to do. And I'm like, I caught myself. And I walked back to the mirror and I was like, I'm wearing a tank top. Did not even adjust the tank top, just kind of put it on.
Right.
And the first thing I did was grab my phone. My husband's like, what are you doing? Are you coming downstairs? And I'm like, yeah, 1 minute. And I was like, and I'm not kidding. And it stuck with me because I was like, it actually happened. I was doing it every day. Like, oh, this isn't going to work for me. Maybe it's not. Maybe I should be doing better. Maybe I should be losing more. And then it was that aha moment when I actually saw the difference. Not only felt the difference.
Right.
And
so you just had like a thing. So like, what do you want? What do you want in life? What do you want to have? How do you want to look? What do you want happening? But those things won't happen unless you actually do the actions to make them happen. Listen, I want to be able to wear heels again and not feel like my back is killing me.
Oh, that a lot of people have that issue. My back hurts. Oh,
right.
And then you say it's the shoes.
It's not the shoes. It's the fat bottom girl syndrome. So let's just, so those things, like, I'm not going to just wake up one day, although it does happen like that. But, I'm going to go to sleep tonight and wake up tomorrow perfectly fit if I'm not working out, if I'm not eating healthy, if I'm not like making good choices daily.
Well,
But then there will be a point where you get there and you go, oh, look, it happened
Mhm.
because you did it. But you can look back and say, but every single day I was doing things to make it come true.
Absolutely.
well, here's the thing. Let me rewind. Let's get back to our failed resolution syndrome
Enough is enough.
and the points that people where it goes wrong. So the first thing is that the decision is what starts it, right? And like a real decision, sometimes we make a decision, it's not real for us. The second thing is a plan is necessary, and a plan really needs to be written down somewhere. It needs to be outside of our heads, because if it's in our heads only, that gives us that
real.
excuse to not do it. Right? It's not real.
Not real.
Yeah, it doesn't say it there, right? If it says it, you're either doing what it says or you're not. And then there has to be that understanding about how all those sabotaging thoughts are going to start flooding in.
Yeah.
And there's going to be the opportunity as soon as you start or shortly thereafter to, say, okay, I didn't start at the right time. I need to start again. At some point, you have to say, I am pushing through this no matter what. And so this is our key. We have to start. It does take some amount of faith also.
You have to believe. You have to.
You have to understand, if you do the right thing continuously, that you are going to get the results.
Like trusting the process.
Yes, again, someone else owns that. So I think that's a very simple kind of a sequence that if we all understand that, we could all overcome our failed resolution syndromes.
Right.
It's all about becoming mentally tough, right?
Well, we are mentally tough. We have to remember that we're mentally tough. Everyone's mentally tough. You people popped full human beings out of your bodies.
Twice by choice.
Yeah, by choice, right. You went back for more. That's insane.
I know.
Okay.
It's crazy. Like, now that you think about that. Yeah, that's on my list. That was another one.
See what you're capable of?
See what we can do.
All right, good. So if nobody has anything else, we're going to say our goodbyes.
No, but just everybody who is watching live or not watching live, who will be joining us next week. One, obviously, we're a really big deal that we extended our promo, Dr. R.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm the worst.
Come on. I mean, get with it.
Yeah.
Come on. Go ahead.
Okay, shall I talk? Okay, good.
Yeah,
So
get with your intro.
we have two programs going on. Nobody's listening to us anymore. I should have said this at the beginning. So we have two promos going on simultaneously.
Yes.
One is called Share the Love. You can imagine what that's about. No, it's not what you're thinking. The idea for that is it's a referral program whereby if you bring in a loved one and they start the program, they get 14% off of any program, and you get a 10-day bottle for your next program. So in other words, you get a 10-day extension for your next program, which is awesome. Okay, as a thank you.
You get a bottle.
The second thing we're doing, and this is just part of our regular operating procedure now, is everyone gets to do a keeping it off consultation. And people are really digging about this, right? Because we dig down and we discover what some of your barriers are. We talk about some of what it takes to keep it off, and we formulate a plan for that. And for some people, it's our new maintenance program, which is awesome as well. Yeah. So that's what we're doing right now. Take advantage of that. Do not suffer from FRS. We all know the pain that can cause in our nether regions. So take advantage of this. FRS is a horrifying epidemic, and we've had enough of those lately.
We're done with those.
How'd I do, Jackie?
I'm impressed.
Okay,
You
good.
passed.
Anything else before we say our goodbyes?
No, we'll see you next week.
We will see everyone next week. Thank
7 days from now. 7 days. You could be down a couple of pounds by then.
More than a couple.
Time's going to go by.